Hello, dear friends. In the last lesson, I gave a brief explanation and definition of feminism and gender equality. Today, I want to answer this important question. I wonder if the spread of feminism in recent decades has led to an increase in divorces. In general, is the idea of gender equality useful or dangerous? It's difficult to give a specific answer. Let me tell you my observation. Sometimes feminists try to make women hate men. This is a very bad trend. If we approach feminism in this way, we can say that this view will increase the number of divorces. Because if a woman in the family hates her husband, then they cannot live together and cannot be happy. I want to say one important issue. If feminism is only the protection of women's rights, then I am also a feminist. Because no normal person accepts that women in families are subjected to violence. Women's rights as human beings must be protected. However, unlike feminists, I don't want to equate women with men. Why? Because a woman is a woman. To equate her with a man is in fact an insult to a woman. It is not right to involve a woman in hard work. It's my approach. Woman is a delicate and precious being. He must maintain his subtlety. Unfortunately, the modern world does not give a woman the value she deserves. Today, women have become a means of advertising in various items. A woman is a valuable being. It's not just a means of sexual pleasure. He is a delicate, beautiful, valuable being. The Prophet Muhammad had a beautiful saying about women. Al-mar'atu rayhanatun. A woman is a fragrant flower. In the mid-60s, the American feminist writer Betty Friedan wrote about the unfair treatment of women in the family. Later, in the 1970s and 1980s, feminists focused on the family, within the family, and did much in this area. Three main issues were highlighted here. First, why is there injustice against women in the household? Why is housework put on a woman? Why? The second, a woman is physically abused by a man because she is physically weak. Third, it's mainly women who serve children, husbands, and patients in the family. Feminists considered this unfair and said, everyone at home should serve themselves. The efforts of feminists on these three issues have yielded good results. I think their work should be appreciated. Indeed, in different societies, women have serious problems with these three issues. In the family, a man's physical strength dominates him, and he becomes aggressive and violent towards his wife. In fact, domestic violence is one of the most serious problems in sociology. Let's look at the problem of domestic violence from a sociological point of view, dear friends. Sociologically, domestic violence is when one family member physically abuses another. That is, when we say violence, we mean mainly physical violence. In sociology, studies show that children, especially children under the age of 6, are the most vulnerable in the family. Husband's physical pressure on his wife is also one of the most common incidents. Of course, in some cases, women also put physical pressure on their children and husbands. Modern sociologist Anthony Giddens has a very interesting sentence. Family is the most dangerous place in modern society. Giddens' sentence describes the situation of a family in modern societies. Instead of being a place of comfort, the family has become a dangerous place now and in modern times. This is quite unfortunate. Statistics show that 1 in 4 homicides in Britain is a domestic homicide. More than 95% of police reports say women have been abused by men. Based on these reports, feminists say that men in the family use physical violence against women and want to control them. However, two modern sociologists, Strauss and Gelles, surveyed more than 80,000 American families and found that the feminist approach was wrong. According to Strauss and Gelles, men in the family are also physically abused by their wives, but do not report it to the police. We must answer an important question, dear friends. Why is domestic violence considered relatively normal? Why? It seems that the question was not completely clear, yes? Look, it's a great sensation when we have conflict with a stranger outside the family. In many cases, we even apply to the police. However, we do not view family conflicts as a sensation, even in cases of physical violence. I wonder why. The first answer to this question is, sincere feelings in the family are rich. Family ties are built on strong emotions. In these feelings and relationships, love and hate are intertwined. There is violence in the family, and also it creates hatred. It's as if love in the family reduces this hatred, and as a result, a kind of balance is created. Don't be surprised when I talk about love in the family. It's true that for modern men, love is a somewhat outdated concept. But I want to tell you the opinions of two modern sociologists about love in the family. Ulrich Beck and Elizabeth Beck. They wrote a book about it. The book is called The Normal Chaos of Love. They wrote an important truth in this book. According to them, although the number of divorces has increased in modern times, the number of marriages has also increased. Although the desire to have children has decreased in families, but the number of families seeking medical help to have children is still high. The modern world is constantly and daily changing, but it is as if there is a stable and unchanging horse in this chaos. The name of this horse is family. In such a contrasting, changing, and chaotic world, I wonder why people are eager to get married and have children. According to these two sociologists, the answer to this question is as follows. Only the love factor in the family motivates people to get married and have children. Only love factor. Yes, in this chaotic and stressful life, the family is the only place where one can take refuge and relax. Families break up, but divorced families live in the hope of finding love again and remarry. They hope to find love again. So, one of the reasons for the relatively common perception of domestic violence is love and attachment in the family. Interestingly, a man who tolerates other women's harsh words does not tolerate his wife's harsh words and behavior towards her in the family and reacts harshly. Why do you think so? Because a man is attached to his wife. There is a deep connection between them. This connection creates expectations between them. Where there is an expectation, there is irritability and a harsh reaction. Man is not sensitive to strangers because he has no expectations of them. This is a very important and necessary issue. A person is sensitive to the person he loves and expects from him. There is a second reason for the relatively normal perception of domestic violence. From time immemorial in human history, violence against women and children has been considered socially acceptable. According to a study, 25% of Americans, both men and women, believe that a man can physically abuse his wife in the family. Let's look for an answer to an important question. Of course, there should be no violence within the family. This is morally and legally wrong. However, we must answer this question: how can we prevent divorce and violence in the modern world? There are two possible answers to this question, dear friends. I think none of these answers are acceptable. The first answer is this answer. We must accept all family models, including homosexuality. As I said, both answers are wrong. The first answer is wrong because we cannot return to the traditional family model in modern times. Do you know the traditional family model? That is, a woman should not be active in the public sphere, but only do housework. Proponents of this model to prevent domestic violence and divorce believe that if a woman does housework, she will take care of her husband, and as a result, family conflicts will be reduced. Thus, divorces will be reduced. However, the traditional family model is not possible today, because in modern times, women also receive higher education and want to work in accordance with their specialties. It is impossible to tie a woman to household chores. The second answer above is also not valid, because the homosexual family model actually means the destruction of the family institution. Moral rules are important for human life. Homosexuality is against those rules. What to do? What's the most optimal and beneficial way to prevent domestic violence and divorce? The answer is clear. I think both men and women in the family should be able to control themselves. They need to understand that they need to treat each other with respect. Moral rules are important to all. It's not possible to prevent domestic violence by legal procedures alone. Statistics show that more than 60% of marriages in the United States and Britain end in divorce within 10 years. This is a sad fact. Dear friends, our lessons about family problems ended here. We will have lessons on new topics. Please follow us. See you. Thank you for your attention.